On January 15th, 1967, on a bright, clear day in the Los Angeles Coliseum, the big question which had troubled the football world for 7 years was answered. For the first time, the Green Bay Packers, champions of the National Football League, played the Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the American Football League. The game was the first concrete evidence of the merger of the two leagues, and it was played for the highest stakes ever, $15,000 per man for the winning players. The Super Bowl was seen by the largest sports audience in the history of television. 65 million people watching the broadcast on 2 networks.
Program, football line up here. Got to take it down, fella.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that starting line up here. Get a program, football line up here. Yeah, you line up today's game.
This premier spectacle of sport took place in a carnival atmosphere appropriate to the Hollywood setting.
Yeah, official program. Line up today, boys. Line up here. Get them early, boys. Got to sell out today now.
There's a beat in this land, it's there in all we do. That's why hands across the country reach for the blue. And when we get together, there's a taste that's clean and true. That's why we come for the blue.
Labatt's Blue is Pilsner brewed for that clean, true taste.
Yeah, when we come for the blue. It's time to call for your blue. It's time to call for the blue.
The judges look for balance, overall size, muscle tone and definition, matched with a tight posing routine. It's been called North America's fastest growing sport. Each week, American Muscle Magazine will highlight competitions from around the globe, offer training routines, plus diet information and inside tips from the world's top performers. American Muscle Magazine. Look for it Sundays right here on TSN.
The clarion call of the Kansas City trumpeter went unanswered. Throughout the entire game, the Kansas City runners were hauled down at the line of scrimmage as the big mobile Green Bay defenders overpowered the blockers. It was established early that the Chiefs could not move the ball consistently on the ground. They were to gain only 72 yards rushing. Most of this yardage was born from desperation, as Len Dawson scrambled to avoid Green Bay tacklers. This, of course, is a sign of weakness, not of strength. With their ground game choked off, the Chiefs took to the air. During the second quarter, they surprised the Green Bay defense with accurate passing, which elusive Mike Garrett made even more effective. The play-action pass was quarterback Len Dawson's most useful weapon. It was a play-action pass which fooled Green Bay and gave Kansas City its longest gain of the day. It's Dawson to Otis Taylor for 31 yards. The fullback's fake is the key to the play-action pass. When the Green Bay defense honors the fake, it must sacrifice the pass rush. With no pressure on him, Dawson has ample time to find a receiver. The receiver, in turn, has time to break free. Another play-action pass. Dawson to Curtis McClinton gives Kansas City its only touchdown. In super slow motion, we see the Green Bay defense sucked in by the play-action fake. The fake is so convincing that Dawson has his choice of two receivers. Cornerback Bob Jeter goes over his assignment as Green Bay adjusts to contain the play-action pass.
Yeah, that's why I said if he come outside, if he comes out there, see, I'm looking for tight end. I'm forced. The tight end blocks, I come up. Now, if he came inside, I'm going to lose you every time. I just have to lay back here.
Now the Green Bay defense ignores the faking backs to concentrate on Dawson. In the second half, the Packers begin to blitz to put even more pressure on Dawson. Number 60, Leroy Caffey, finds an open road to the quarterback. The Green Bay front four is relentless. Dawson learns the hard way what NFL quarterbacks have known for years. Kansas City discovers that against Green Bay, success invites punishment. As the pass rush hurries Dawson, the task of the Green Bay defensive backs becomes easier. All-Pro Herb Adderley, aware that the rush has diminished the threat of the bomb, concentrates on denying the short pass. With his receivers covered short and long, Dawson tries to stall the rush with a screen pass, which dies on the long reach of Bob Brown. As the Kansas City offense consistently comes up short, frustrated coach Hank Stram ponders an impossible problem. Pro football games are won and lost on third down. For Kansas City, it's now 3rd and 11. This is the play Dawson must make to keep the Chiefs alive. Dawson completes his pass to Reg Carolyn, but Ray Nitschke stops the play 4 yards short of the first down. As the Chiefs founder on the rocky Green Bay defense, they try to salvage what they can with a field goal attempt. But even that fails, and the missed third down has cost them possession of the ball. It is a third down play which separates the great quarterback from the average. The great ones convert third down into first. For Dawson, it's 3rd and 10. He completes a screen pass to Garrett into the thick of the Green Bay defense, and the play gains only 8 yards.
Let's go for it! Let's go!
But the Chiefs go for the field goal instead. Mike Mercer brings the Kansas City point total to 10, but the Chiefs will score no more this afternoon. Most third down failures force the team to kick. This third down failure forced the Chiefs out of their game plan into a hopeless game of catch-up. Willie Wood's 50-yard return strikes deep into the Kansas City heartland. This fatal third down failure was the child of frustration. Dawson, under brutal pressure from a Packer blitz, lobs a weak pass over the on-rushing defenders. With nothing on it, the ball flutters into the hands of Wood. If there was one play upon which the game turned, this was it.
I thought it was going to go all the way on the daggone thing.
Did somebody flick a toe or something? Yeah, kind of.
Now, somebody came from behind, you know. I was undecided whether to change field or not on that thing.
You might have made it going for that Carter, but
that's what I started to do.
Overmatched as a team, some Kansas City players still had their moments. Number 55, E.J. Holub, shows unusual speed for a linebacker as he runs step for step with Jim Taylor to stop a sweep. The left side linebacker, powerful Bobby Bell, demonstrates his strength and agility as he fights off a block to make this tackle. In the circle, tackle Buck Buchanan knocked back 2 steps at the moment of impact, still with persistence and good pursuit, manages to wrestle Jim Taylor to the ground. Four times in the course of the game, Dawson did throw the ball to Otis Taylor, but it was far from enough. The timing was faulty on Dawson's first 2 passes to Chris Burford, his other top receiver. Both balls were caught dramatically, but out of bounds. However, Burford is a fine end. He caught 4 passes for 67 yards to lead the Kansas City receivers. Mercury quick Mike Garrett gave American Football League fans cause for pride. Garrett was one of the best backs on the field.
Come on, let's go, Ray! All right, give it to Garrett! Give it to Garrett! Give it to Garrett!
When they did give the ball to Garrett, he brought the fans to their feet with skittering stop-and-go runs through the Green Bay defense. wonderfully balanced runner, Garrett time and again slipped tackles to gain additional yardage. Mike Garrett is a complete player. He blocks. His fakes were so convincing, but often he was tackled when he did not have the ball. And when his quarterback is in a hole, Garrett lends a helping hand. Above all, though, Mike Garrett is a great natural runner. Kansas City did have some stars, but Green Bay was a team of stars.
If heaven ain't a lot like Dixie, I don't want to go.
That's Hank Williams Jr. Hi, I'm Ralph Emery, and I'd like to tell you about All American Country, a new 5-record collection from Sessions that has 50 of the biggest country hits ever. Just listen.
Do me with the love.
Whatever happened to old-fashioned love? How come you're feeling so proud when your love's on the line?
Baby, I like
Thinking love.
like nothing ever happened. Baby, what about you? Still you wonder who's cheating who and who's being true?
You want a man with the soul hand.
Tell me you're trying to cure a 7-year age.
You'll also get Roseanne Cash, Willie Nelson, The Judge, Waylon Jennings, T.G. Shepherd, Merle Haggard, George Jones, and Reba McEntire.
I can't even get the blues no more.
You get All American Country on 5 records or 3 cassette tapes for just $24.95. Here's how to order.
Credit card customers call toll-free 1-800-553-4100. That's 1-800-553-4100. Or send just $24.95 for albums or cassettes plus $4 shipping and handling to All American Country. Box 501 TSN, Unionville, Ontario.
Hello, I'm Diana McDonald, and I'm standing at the Canmore Nordic Center, where the cross-country and biathlon events will be held for the 1988 Winter Games. Please join us for all the excitement. Our daily coverage begins February the 14th.
On the third play of the game, Green Bay lost one of its stars when Board Dowler suffered a separated shoulder. He was replaced by 34-year-old Max McGee, the unlikeliest star of the afternoon. McGee fielded his first pass like Willie Mays and went on from there. McGee's catch is even more startling in super slow motion, and it was a portent of things to come. The crafty Green Bay veteran used his 11 years of NFL experience over and over to take advantage of the young Kansas City cornerbacks. McGee beat Willie Mitchell to the outside. He beat Mitchell to the inside. When the desperate Chiefs resorted to double coverage, McGee beat both defenders. Although he had caught only 4 passes during the entire NFL season, on this vital afternoon, McGee caught 7 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. He demoralized the Kansas City secondary.
What That old girl working on that young man.
Let it go, go.
Let's go line out. Shake him up, baby, huh?
Come on, the two.
He's off there 5 passes all year. Nip and tack, and then we're going to run off the lead.
Carroll Dale, the Packers' other wide receiver, also found Kansas City's stacked defense an invitation to success. Dale gratefully accepted the short passes conceded by Mitchell, who was deathly afraid of the bomb. Hammered to the earth by Fred Williamson on this play, Dale learned something. Later, he used this hard-won knowledge to sting Williamson. After the Green Bay Bombers laid open the Kansas City defense, Packer runners ran through the wounds. Jim Taylor, behind violent blocking, ripped through the gaps torn in the Kansas City defense. On that last touchdown, Max McGee's chain reaction block piled up Kansas City's stacked defense. Elijah Pitts also ran to daylight through the Kansas City line. On that touchdown, you can see the savage charge of the Green Bay offensive line. Fleming, Skoronski, and Thurston wipe out the tiring Kansas City defenders. As the game wore on, the Kansas City defensive line folded under the steady pounding of the Green Bay blockers. The holes gaped wider, and the Packer runners dug deep into the soft underbelly of the Chiefs. Whiplashed by plays that struck with equal devastation to either side, the Chiefs were helpless to stem the Packer onslaught. Finally, Elijah Pitts applies the coup de grace.
Andy? Where's Andy?
With the final blow administered, Lombardi sends in his youngsters. In 3 minutes, rookie Donnie Anderson outgained any Kansas City back. On this play, his powerful stride accidentally lays out Fred Williamson.
The hammer. You know who got hurt? The hammer. The hammer? Oh. They nailed the hammer. Hey, Slap, the hammer got it. Willie. Get him! Time out.
In every home, there's something that's sticking, squeaking, or binding. That's why every home needs Wins Slick and Shine, the can that doesn't know the meaning of can't. Also, Slick and Shine shines and protects sporting equipment, electrical appliances, household items, leather goods, in fact, almost everything. Slick and Shine, the can that never says can't. By Wins.
TSN's Thursday is off and running at 7 with all the news from the backstretch. Join Brad Diamond with the world of horse racing. Then, speed is the word when top track stars like Ben Johnson compete in the 88 Achilles Indoor Games from Vancouver. At 9, catch all the day's action when we go down under as top players battle at the baseline in the women's semifinal matchups of the Australian Open. Don't miss a minute of TSN's Thursday.
Quarterback Bart Starr was the architect of the Green Bay victory. On the Packers' first series, while his blockers were adjusting, Starr was harried by the Kansas City rush, but he never lost his poise. Firing into the Kansas City defense with cool precision, Starr first hits Fleming. then mixes his targets expertly. On this march, he finds Pitts. Dale. And finally, McGee for the touchdown. These 4 passes ate up 82 yards. On third and short yardage, Starr likes this daring play. The play-action fake completely fools the Kansas City defense, and Dale is wide open.
Boy, that makes me mad.
Unruffled when a penalty nullifies the touchdown, Starr proves again why he is the best quarterback in football. Where Kansas City failed on its third down opportunities, Starr never misses. On 3rd and 5, he hits Max McGee for 10. On 3rd and 10, he connects with Dale for 15. On 3rd and 6, it's Fleming for 11. On 3rd and 7, Starr finds his 4th different receiver, Elijah Pitts, for another first down. A magnificent performance earns Bart Starr the game's most valuable player award. For the first time in 7 years, Vince Lombardi's Packers, 35-10 victors over Kansas City, can claim an indisputable world championship. In this superb spectacle of a sport, even the losers can find some satisfaction.
I thought we played well the first half, and I thought we got off to a good start the second half. I think the interception on the 3rd and 5 situation seemingly changed the personality of the ball game. Starr, I thought, was just terrific all afternoon at picking up the big 3rd down play.
We got to him a couple times.
Yeah. We were in a variety of coverages, kept trying to change the picture, but he still pierced the areas and got the ball in there for the necessary yardage.
They have good people. We had good people. We didn't play our finest ball game. They played well. I think Max McGee probably had the best football game he's had in the last 10 years.
Of course, I don't know what their game plan was, but it's very evident that they were working on our left side.
I'm not going to say that just because I saw a new receiver, this was a problem to me. No, because the only thing you have to do is play football anyway, you know.
Back to cornfields, huh?
On another day, in another year, it will surely be the turn of the AFL. But this spectacle of a sport belonged to Green Bay. Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
Let me say this, we faced the Green Bay Packers today, and they are a very fine football team. We have always had a great deal of respect for them. Of course, their record in the National Football League speaks for itself.
They didn't give our offensive room to do anything, and I think it's just their fine defense. And, I wish we could be as good in the future. I hope we can be as good in the future as they are.
They have a solid ball club. They're just really tough, I guess you'd have to say.
I felt it was a day for me, a day of learning. There's no doubt about it. Darryl deserves a lot of credit under extreme pressure. I think he showed a lot of poise. He certainly has done a fine job for us this year, and he realizes he still has a lot to learn. We all do. And I think
for the Oakland Raiders of the American Football League, the 1968 World Championship game was a day of learning. For the Green Bay Packers of the National Football League, it was another day of victory.
I just like to say that I'm real pleased with everything, and I'm very, very, very grateful, really, believe me. I think they got a great bunch of boys, and they certainly deserve what they got.
The Packers' reward was the biggest football can offer, a world championship. For the second straight year, Coach Vince Lombardi received the championship trophy from Commissioner Pete Rozelle.
Lombardi, second world championship.
I hope this is a habit.
It's become a semi-habit, Vinny. Congratulations for the second year in a row. Wonderful performance by a fine football club and a great coach.
Thank you.
On January 14th, 1968, the Oakland Raiders met the Green Bay Packers in Miami's famous Orange Bowl to determine the world champion of professional football.
Call it loud and clear while it's in the air. I'm going to let it hit the ground. It is tails, and Oakland has won the toss.
We'll see.
They want the football.
We will defend this goal here.
Okay.
Taking quite a bit of time in the huddle, and it figures these are devious pass routes on a 3rd and 16 situation.
The game's television audience totaled over 70 million viewers, more than 1/3 of the entire population of the United States.
From high above, from these beautiful skies over Miami, we look down on the Orange Bowl.
Right from the beginning of the game, there was a sense of superior Packer power, grown strong but not fat on history. The first time Green Bay got the ball, quarterback Bart Starr directed them to the Oakland 32-yard line. Don Chandler kicked a 39-yard field goal to give the Packers a 3-0 lead. Near the end of the first period, Starr began another march into Oakland territory. The longest gains in this drive were a 17-yard pass to split-end Carroll Dale and a 14-yard run by Starr himself.
Let's work out there. Let's work out there.
At the outset of the second quarter, Chandler kicked another field goal, this one from the 20, and Green Bay moved ahead 6-0.
Hey, anytime you have a tight 40L and anytime they come in with a tight U, you have to get a call back on the weak side.
Throughout the season, Oakland's defensive line, led by Big Ben Davidson, had consistently put pressure on opposing passers. Confident of this rush from the front four, Oakland's cornerbacks developed the habit of playing pass receivers extremely tight to cut off the short pass, assuming that there wouldn't be a long one. This tactic cost them a touchdown in the middle of the second quarter when Starr on first down found Boyd Dowler deep down the middle for a 62-yard touchdown. The scoring pattern, Dowler explains, was a basic one.
Quick post is what it amounts to, but just he and I out there, man on man, and I kind of horsed by him. I bumped him when I came off the line of scrimmage, and he bumped me. We bumped each other, I guess. You put it that way.
The Raiders were behind 13-0. But if they were impressed, they did not act it.
Hit him from behind like this on top and throw him down.
Darryl LaMonica, their young quarterback, went to work with poise and efficiency. He ran Hewritt Dixon and Pete Banaszak into the line, and for the first time in the game, they made good yardage. LaMonica then switched to his passing game and moved the Raiders to the Packer 23 with 2 well-directed throws. LaMonica wound up the drive by passing to end Bill Miller for a touchdown. The strategy which resulted in Oakland's first score is worth reviewing. The touchdown play came out of a double wing formation that was designed to flood the left side of Green Bay's secondary with 3 potential pass receivers. One of them, Bill Miller, found an open spot just beyond linebacker Dave Robinson. Miller pulled in LaMonica's perfectly thrown pass and beat safety man Tom Brown to the end zone. Miller's touchdown cut the Packer lead to 6 points. And at this juncture in the game, the Raiders gained the momentum.
Get a rush in there now. That's the way to hit him. Way to go.
Oakland's defense broke down Green Bay's blocking and forced the Packers to punt from deep in their own territory. But Oakland was denied an excellent scoring opportunity when Roger Byrd fumbled Donnie Anderson's short punt, and the Packers recovered. The Raiders had made their first serious error, and it turned out to be a costly one. Starr immediately moved Green Bay into field goal range with a short completion to Dowler. With 6 seconds left in the half, Don Chandler kicked a 43-yard field goal. Chandler's kick did more than make the score 16-7 at halftime. It gave Green Bay an edge they never lost. In fact, Packer co-captain Willie Davis felt that this could have been the game's turning point.
Specific turning point. I thought maybe when we got the field goal right before the half, instead of them having the ball at midfield, maybe in trying a field goal, we had it and got a field goal and put us 16-7. And I think this made a big difference because they possibly could have completed a ball and got maybe a field goal and would have tightened the score.
In the third period, Green Bay pried apart Oakland's defenses and assumed complete control of the game. Ben Wilson and Donnie Anderson moved confidently through the Raiders for steady gains.
Let's run it down that throat now.
But it was Bart Starr's passing, and as important, his selection of passes, that made the difference. Starr provided the game clincher on a call that is, for him, standard operating procedure. It was 3rd and 1 on the Green Bay 40. Starr faked the line plunge, then lofted the ball to elderly Max McGee. Starr has used this play successfully many times in the NFL, and according to Oakland's safety man Howie Williams, the Raiders were aware of it.
We knew the play was coming, and we'd set up an arrangement whereby we were going to jam McGee in and not let him out. But as it turned out, McGee slipped through.
12-year veteran Max McGee demonstrated the value of experience when he outfoxed 3 Oakland defenders and caught the ball for a 35-yard gain. Donnie Anderson caught a shorter pass and brought Green Bay to the Oakland 1. 2 plays later, Anderson cantered into the end zone for Green Bay's 2nd touchdown. Anderson's run made it 23-7. And at that moment, everyone understood that the outcome for all purposes had been determined, and Green Bay would be champion again.
Well, I think very definitely put the frosting on the cake. At that time, we did have a lead, but instead of having maybe just a shaky lead, all at once we had a good, secure lead. And I think that, as far as I'm concerned, this was the first time I really felt that maybe things were on easy street.
Gave the people of Green Bay, Wisconsin, reason to be proud, for it proved that their Packers were the best team in all of football. For Oakland Raider fans, the game was like watching a man on the side of a hill trying to hold back a huge boulder. Eventually, it was bound to start rolling. But there were times when the Raiders seemed to be saying that if it did, it would not roll on this day. Several times during the first three quarters, Oakland's defense shut down Packer marches deep in Raider territory. They obliterated Green Bay's running game and twice forced the Packers to settle for field goals. Tom Keating, Oakland's aggressive young tackle, bucked and slugged in the trenches with Green Bay's Gale Gillingham and Ken Bowman, and once boiled through to come down with Starr on his lap. Of Oakland's front four, Keating was the one who caused the most trouble for the Packers. But the one most noticeable from the stands was 6'7" Ben Davidson, number 83. In 1967, Davidson was named to the All-AFL team, and his reputation for fury was well documented in this championship game. On offense, Oakland was not as impressive, although there were several outstanding individual performances. Ured Dixon, the Raiders' big fullback, was the team's leading ground gainer. In the third period, his bludgeoning legs accounted for all of Oakland's yardage. Dixon gained not only 52 yards rushing, but also the respect of Henry Jordan, Green Bay's veteran tackle.
Well, he's one of the hardest runners we've met. I won't say he is the hardest because it's hard to compare, but he was doing some real good running out there. In fact, he did a lot just on his own, with no blocking.
In Oakland's offensive line, the most noteworthy performance was turned in by a rookie guard, Gene Upshaw, number 63. Upshaw blocked superbly all day, and not once did he permit Henry Jordan, number 74, to get to the passer. The Raiders, as they clearly demonstrated in this game, have the enthusiasm, muscle, and size to become a truly superior football team. All they lacked, and it was a noticeable lack on this Sunday, was the Packer experience. The Raiders are a young team, and their greenish hue became very apparent in the harsh light of a championship game. Oakland fumbled 3 times and suffered 1 interception. Green Bay capitalized on nearly every mistake and won the game with professional efficiency. At the heart of Green Bay's precision attack was quarterback Bart Starr. Poised in the face of Oakland's furious rush, Starr picked his plays well, with his usual self-assurance and almost instant recognition of defenses. When the Raiders blitzed, Starr usually caught them in it and pitched short passes over the middle to tight end Marv Fleming. But more often than not, he handed the ball to fullback Ben Wilson, who responded by gaining 65 yards. Wilson wasn't supposed to start, but he did, and emerged as the game's leading ball carrier. Wilson also provided the only suspense the game produced when he spent the fourth quarter on the sidelines searching for a lost contact lens.
I'll be a son of a gun.
Although Green Bay's steady ball control offense was effective, it was the defense which established the dominance of the Packers over the Raiders. It was written before this game that the Packers live by their defense. On this Sunday, the Raiders may have died by it. Willie Davis is 32 years old, and he is, in a sense, the guts of the tough Green Bay defense. He is listed in the Packer roster as weighing 245 pounds, but he charges as if he weighed twice that much. Davis made 7 unassisted tackles, a performance that will not be forgotten by young Harry Shue, the Raider who played opposite him.
The greatest that I have come against. He taught me a few lessons a day that I won't forget.
Davis explains that Green Bay's defensive strategy was to stop Oakland's outside running.
Running outside had been their strongest suit, and I think this was the thing that we had to do. And early in the ball game was cut off the outside run, which we were able to do. And I think this made a difference. In the meantime, our offense got some points on the board, and of course, they were in a different situation.
Green Bay's defense is based on the biggest and best set of linebackers in football. At one corner is Leroy Caffey, number 60, mean and expert after 5 years of consistent play in the NFL. At the other corner is number 89, All-Pro Dave Robinson, whose credentials include speed, balance, and 250 pounds. At 31 years of age, middle linebacker Ray Nitschke has lost most of his hair, but he still plays, as he puts it, with reckless abandon. On the game's first play, he flipped Hewitt Dixon heels over helmet for no gain. When the Raiders tried to run wide, Nitschke shot through the gaps left by Oakland's pulling guards to run down Raider ball carriers from behind. Time after time, Nitschke, Robinson, and Caffey demonstrated their remarkable talent for lateral pursuit. Dixon and Banaszak were unable to turn upfield as Oakland's powerful wide running attack was completely nullified by Green Bay's mobile linebackers. Exacting secondary proved just as effective against Oakland's passing game. Through 3 quarters of play, they permitted the Raiders only 7 pass completions. Cornerback Herb Adderley intimidated Oakland's receivers with his savage tackling. And in the 3rd quarter, he drove down the last firm nail in the Raider coffin when he intercepted a pass and raced 60 yards to the Packers' final touchdown. Adderley's interception was the result of his ability to anticipate LaMonica's delivery, and his touchdown was the result of a shattering block thrown by number 77, Ron Kostelnik. Adderley's score, coupled with Don Chandler's 4th field goal, gave the Packers a 33-7 lead. Oakland's Bill Miller pulled in the final touchdown of the day, but all it did was make the game closer on the records than it had been on the field. The game and the world title belong to the Packers of Green Bay.
News media in Canada, the United States, and Europe. But he decided enough is enough. And when Johnny Carson called, well, he said no.
And I would not have taken it on. I wouldn't have traveled all the way to the other side, the United States, just to be on the show. I'm too old for that.
He says he's too old, but Joe is in better shape than most men half his age. He trains 3 to 4 times a day, carrying an old back scrubber as the torch. His eyesight is failing, and his hearing isn't what it used to be. but he says he's in pretty good shape for a guy his age.
Perfect. I'm a perfect specimen of masculinity.
But Joe is saving his best for February the 10th, the day that he'll carry the Olympic torch. He'll be driven about 300 kilometers north of Calgary, where he'll be handed the flame. Now, it's going to be a special day for Joe, but what's going to make it even better is that's the day that he's going to turn 101 years old.
And I think of myself stepping out of the warm van and walking to the torch bearer and saying, "Okay, Army, now you give me that torch." And off I go for a kilometer.
Joe's become a celebrity around the care center, but he hasn't let it go to his head. The day he carries the torch will be a proud moment, but he won't be doing it for himself.
I said I will carry this torch for the love of Calgary, for the love of Alberta, for the love of Canada in general, and God save the Queen.
Teresa Herger, TSN, Calgary.
And just keep that smile on your face, because now we're going to talk about minor hockey. It has come under its fair share of criticism through the 1980s, but boy, when you see how well our players continue to perform at international competitions, you get the feeling Canada's minor hockey people are doing something right. Just ask any little kid who laces on the skates a few times a week. He'll tell you how much fun it is.
First, you have to know how to skate. And of course, it helps to have a blistering shot. And you've got to have moves. Or how about persistence? Some of these 6-year-old termites arrive at the arena like pizzas, all dressed. But others need mom's touch to get ready. Once on the ice, though, the coach wants you to practice. I think this is practice. Enough of this backward stuff. Let's move forward and play some real hockey. It may look a little confusing to you, but these kids know what's going on. They know the score. And they know what post-game interviews are all about. What do you like about hockey, Ian?
It's fun, and it gives me a lot of exercise. I like the speed and the action, shooting, puck, and everything like that.
Did you have a good game today?
Well, we lost 5-1, but it was fun, yeah.
And you want to be a hockey player when you grow up?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? Like, who's your favorite player?
Maurice Richard.
Maurice Richard. Whoa. It's nice to know the legends live on. Michael Whalen, TSN in Montreal.
That'll send you away with a smile on your face. Before we do send you on your way, a couple of NHL games that you might be interested in, especially if you're a fan of Edmonton and Calgary. They continue to battle nip and tuck for top spot in the Smythe Division. Edmonton taking a bit of a nip. They tied the Quebec Nordique by a score of 4-4. That gives the Oilers some problems, actually. They're winless in the last 3 games, if you can call that a problem. Calgary, no problems. They downed Vancouver by a score of 7-5, so those two teams are now tied atop the Smythe Division with 61 points apiece. That's it. We'll see you later.
Joe Namath is many different things to different people. For the last 4 years, he has been known to most as the unpredictable quarterback of the New York Jets. In 1968, Joe's good days far outnumbered his bad. With Coach Weeb Eubank's steady guidance, Broadway Joe passed the Jets to 11 victories and the Eastern title of the American Football League.
He's a hero, he's a pro, he's a Mr. Something Else on Broadway Joe. He's a groovy super guy. He can pass a football through one needle's eye. What a feeling, what a sight, when we see that number 12 in green and white. 1, 2, 3, hip, go, go, go! No one else can score like Broadway Joe!
As a new idol emerged in New York, an old one was fading in Baltimore. For 11 years, John Unitas had been the quarterback of the Baltimore Colts. He had carried them to 2 championships, and his fluid grace on the football field was all the color he had ever needed to make himself a hero. But last season, with a sore throwing arm, he could do little and was reduced to a bench warmer. Instead of Unitas, the man leading the Colts was Earl Morrall, a gypsy quarterback who had worked without distinction for 4 other teams before coming to Baltimore. But for the Colts, Morrall summoned up all his powers. He summoned up the skills everyone thought he had forgotten. He acquired those he seemed never to have had. With the help of his powerful receivers, he put everything together to become the most valuable player in the National Football League. Morrall's accurate passing put points on the scoreboard. And that is all Coach Don Shula needed, because nobody scored much against the Colts. They battered every opponent into complete submission with a defense that tied the all-time league record for the fewest points allowed in a season. The Colts lost only 1 game and were the overwhelming champions of the National Football League's Western Conference. On December 29th at New York Shea Stadium, Joe Namath riddled the Oakland Raiders with 3 touchdown passes and led the Jets to a surprising victory and the championship of the American Football League.
Please let the players in the room!
Right now, Baltimore is leading in the NFL.
Come on, killer, get him, baby! Sock it to him, Rabbit! Sock it to him! He don't in. Break him in half! Kill him! Kill him! Fumble! Fumble! Go get it, Earl! Take him in, baby! Take him home, Earl! Pick one off! Dig it out, Willie! Dig it out! Dig it out, baby! Let's go, Rabbit! In! Let's go! He's in there!
I just dove over. It was the biggest hole you ever seen.
Baltimore's victory over Cleveland in the NFL championship was so impressive that all the men of football were convinced that the mighty Colts would win easily against the young Jets in Miami's Super Bowl. But a relaxed and confident Joe Namath made it clear that in his mind, there was no doubt that the Jets would win. We're a better team than Baltimore, he said. We'll win the Super Bowl. I guarantee it. For the Jets, for the Colts, and certainly for millions of football fans, the worth of Broadway Joe's statements could only be measured on the field of action. Baltimore's defense started the championship game as if they would settle the issue very quickly. They hammered down the New York runners and boxed in Namath's receivers. After 3 minutes of this treatment, the Jets relinquished the ball to Baltimore's offense. On his first call, Earl Morrow threw to John Mackey, who batted the Jets with a 19-yard run. Morrow then turned to his ground game. Tom Maddy, number 41, and Jerry Hill, number 45, powered the Colts past midfield. Once in New York territory, Morrow returned to his passing attack and connected with Tom Mitchell on the New York 19-yard line. But there Morrow threw 2 incompletions. And on third down, he was pressured out of his passing pocket and was forced to run for no gain. Baltimore wasted its first scoring opportunity when Lou Michaels missed a field goal from the 27. On the final play of the first period, Lenny Lyles, number 43, gave Baltimore a second chance when he knocked the ball from George Sauer, and the Colts recovered on the Jets' 12. The first quarter belonged to the Colts, but in the second quarter, with Baltimore pressing for a score, the feeling of the game changed suddenly. It changed on the one accomplishment which most often reverses the trend in a football game: the denial of a sure touchdown. From the Jet 6, Morrow passed to Tom Mitchell. The ball caromed off Mitchell's shoulder pads and into the hands of New York's Randy Beverly. For the second time, the Colts squandered a scoring chance, but even more significant, they lost control of the game. Joe Namath used Beverly's interception as the springboard for a brilliantly executed 80-yard touchdown drive. On 3 successive running plays, Namath sent Matt Snell into the spongy right side of the Colt defense. With Baltimore properly concerned with the Jet running attack, Namath went to the air. He first threw to Bill Mathis on an outlet pass for 6 yards. He then connected with split end George Sauer twice, once for 14 yards, and again for 11. Namath's 4th completion, a flare into Snell, moved the Jets to the Colts' 9. From there, Namath went back to the run, and Snell carried twice, scoring the second time from 4 yards out over the sagging right side of the Colt line. The touchdown was vital to the Jets, for it proved that they could move the ball against a powerful Colt defense. With a 7-0 lead, the job now fell to New York's defense. Throughout the second quarter, the talented Colts constantly threatened to score, but never did. They moved the ball handily, but each time they arrived at the gates of the end zone, the Jets produced a drive-stopping effort.
Oh, come on. You dirty Cole. You dirty guy.
With Baltimore threatening on New York's 15, Johnny Sample intercepted a pass by Earl Morrow. It marked the third time the Jets turned back the Colts inside the 20-yard line. With 25 seconds left in the half, the Colts again penetrated Jet territory. This time, Morrow called for a bit of razzle-dazzle that he had used successfully earlier in the season. 4 months before against the Atlanta Falcons, the play resulted in a touchdown pass from Morrow to flanker Jimmy Orr. Against the Jets, it began successfully, but Morrow's pass to fullback Jerry Hill fell short and was intercepted by Jim Hudson. The real tragedy of the play, however, was the fact that Jimmy Orr, the primary receiver, was standing all alone within easy reach of the end zone. Morrow did not see him and threw instead down the middle, where Hudson intercepted. The first half ended with the Jets ahead 7-0, and Baltimore's precision and power, so evident on the icy turf of Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, seemed to be melting away under the warm Florida sun.
There's a beat in this land, it's there in all we do. That's why hands across the country reach for the blue. And when we get together, there's a taste that's clean and true. That's why we come with the blue.
Labatt's Blue is Pilsner brewed for that clean, true taste.
Yeah, when we come with the blue. It's time to call for your blue. It's time to call for the blue.
You've enjoyed the Canada-Russia Hockey Series of 72. Now thrill to a brand new home video. Actual TV highlights of the Labatt Canada Cup 87, the Blades of Summer. Watch the greatness of Gretzky, the magic of Lemieux, as Canada again meets the Soviet Union in another super showdown of the world's best. The outcome in doubt until that magic moment of victory. The Labatt Canada Cup 87, the Blades of Summer, or the Canada-Russia Series of 72. Each 1-hour video packed with highlights of the two greatest hockey tournaments ever played. Canada Cup 87, the Blades of Summer, or the Canada-Russia Games of 72. Only $29.95 each, plus $3.50 handling. Order yours now. Call toll-free 1-800-268-1121, plus operator number. Order now. Have your credit card ready.
TSN's Thursday is off and running at 7 with all the news from the backstretch. Join Brad Diamond with the world of horse racing. Then, speed is the word when top track stars like Ben Johnson compete in the 88 Achilles Indoor Games from Vancouver. At 9, catch all the day's action when we go down under as top players battle at the baseline in the women's semifinal matchups of the Australian Open. Don't miss a minute of TSN's Thursday.
Go get in there, Baltimore! Get it, Baltimore! Let's get on the board, baby! Let's get on the board!
On the first play of the second half, Tom Matte fumbled. The Jets recovered, and Jim Turner kicked a field goal to make it 10-0. From then on, the third quarter belonged to New York. Joe Namath manipulated the offense so well that the Jets had possession of the ball for all but 3 minutes of the period. Namath called about half the plays at the line of scrimmage and read Baltimore's shifting defense like an old pro. Namath's quick arm nullified Baltimore's fearsome blitz, and his accurate passes to George Sauer, number 83, consistently punctured the Colts' pass defense. Between passes, Namath continued to punch at the weak right side of the Colt defense with his running backs for small but important gains. The third quarter was dying, and so were the Colts. The Jets' margin was small, but definite. Joe Namath was enjoying one of his finest days. Earl Morrall was not. Late in the period, Jim Turner kicked a field goal to give New York a 13-point lead.
We get another score, though. We need another score. Can't let him get the big return. All right, Tank, ready to get us through there. I would have got you in the middle, Tank, but I wanted to go with that 37, see? It doesn't matter. That's why I know, but I would have, you know. If it had been the game thing, I might have went that way.
A game that was supposed to be a laugh-in for the Colts was now a grim battle for survival. At this point, Don Shula replaced Earl Morrall with a man whose reputation was built fighting and winning such battles. With John Unitas, rested Baltimore's only hope of victory. At the beginning of the fourth period, Jim Turner kicked his third field goal to increase New York's lead. The Colts were 16 points behind in the last period. Similar odds had been conquered before with John Unitas at quarterback. But now, with his famous passing arm no more than a tattered memory, he could offer only a fighting heart and a will to win. Inspired by the presence of their old champion, the Colts finally did what they were supposed to do, did what they were capable of. When Baltimore reached the New York 25, Unitas was betrayed by his ailing arm. His pass intended for Jimmy Orr was underthrown, and Randy Beverly made a juggling interception. For the Colts, it was a frustrating culmination to a good drive. But it confirmed the fact that with Unitas at quarterback, sore arm or not, they recaptured the fire and determination that had been their trademark. Unruffled by the appearance of the old master, Joe Namath marshaled his team on a carefully considered, time-consuming march that carried the Jets into Colt territory. The march stalled at the Colt 35. But with the Jets ahead by 16 points, young Joe Namath was only 7 minutes away from being pro football's championship quarterback. But in those final 7 minutes, Broadway Joe learned that there is still a place for a proud old man in a young man's game. Across the darkening field of the Orange Bowl, John Unitas ignored his aching arm and pushed the Baltimore Colts to their first score. Points behind, the Colts gambled on an onside kick and won possession on the New York 44.
The symbol of excellence, Rolls-Royce. And of all the magnificent automobiles bearing this crest, there is one single classic that surpasses all others, the legendary Silver Ghost, now recreated by Franklin Mint Precision Models in a collector's piece so exceptional, it's the official model authorized by Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. The Silver Ghost, only one was ever built. The 1907 masterpiece that established Rolls-Royce as the master car builder. It passed every endurance test of its time and still runs perfectly today. The priceless flagship of the Rolls-Royce line, now in a stunning die-cast model with protectively coated, silver-plated trim. And assembled from more than 127 pieces. Each feature is authenticated by Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, like the removable spare tire, sterling silver-plated trim, exactly like the original. Tiny instruments, pedals, and controls. Engine detailing precise to the last spark plug. You can almost hear the ghost-like hum of its motor. Details to satisfy the most demanding car enthusiast and sophisticated collector. A showpiece for home or office. To order, call 1-800-543-1012. Use your credit card or mail $36.25 by check or money order to the Franklin Mint. You will be billed the balance in 3 monthly payments of $36.25 each. With your model comes a history and certificate of authenticity signed by Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. The imported Silver Ghost is available only from Franklin Mint Precision Models with the die-cast metal craftsmanship of models costing thousands of dollars. Now only 4 payments of $36.25 each. Call 1-800-543-1012. The Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, a most incredible model of the world's most incredible car.
There's nothing quite like owning a Rolls-Royce.
Hello, I'm Diana McDonald, and I'm standing at the Canmore Nordic Center, where the cross-country and biathlon events will be held for the 1988 Winter Games. Please join us for all the excitement. Our daily coverage begins February the 14th.
Only 3 minutes to play. All the hopes and dreams of an entire season rested on the shoulders of one man. One old pro. One last moment for the master. Two champions on a Sunday afternoon. A new one as a quarterback. An old one as a man.
Looks out the door, out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, out of Killeen, Texas. Steve Dane getting ready to take his shot. And look for a green flag. Turn the ignition off, turn the ignition off. Mike Witt comes out of the vehicle. He is okay. Is the ignition off? Ignition off, okay. And the stomper goes over. Right, okay, you get the, is the ignition off? You know, the ignition off? Okay. Mike Witt right here on the spot. I want to thank all the other crews. Now, ladies and gentlemen, like we say, these guys are out. It is a war. Let's give Mike a round of applause. Mike, come here a minute real quick. Mike, you doing okay? Is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. It'll sink in later on tonight.
Said it'll sink in a little bit later tonight. What exactly happened? I mean, earlier in qualifying, we noticed you were getting a little bit late of a leaving and you're charging on the end. You had a good run going until you got to the last jump. What exactly happened there?
Well, the last jump, I hit it hard enough that the back wheels, when we got above the front wheels, then when I started stopping on the brakes, it flipped it over.
So the brakes are what caused the problem. When the truck got over so far, when you hit the brakes, it tipped on him. Ladies and gentlemen, he's okay. He's a tremendously fine young man, a friend of mine. I'm glad he's okay. Let's hear it for Mike Witt out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, in the Stomper Chevrolet.
That's it for Stomper tonight. Massive repairs will have to be made before it can run again. King Kong will advance to the third round to face the winner of this next heat.
Winner stays alive. Jeff Dane advances.
Kong leaves Casper behind and advances to the semifinals. It's to face the Mississippi Toyota. Advances.
King Kong, awesome Kong, King Kong.
Steve Dane beats out Brother Jeff in a tight race right down to the finish line, and King Kong advances to the finals. He'll face either Casper or Mad Dog in the championship heat. Let's find out who it will be.
Flashing red light, Chevrolet, how about it?
Kong wins it all, but not without almost getting a little love tap from Mad Dog. It takes heads-up driving to keep these monster powerhouses under control. And we've seen the best tonight in Charlotte. Let's go down to trackside and talk with winner Steve Dane and Mad Dog driver John Breen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Daniel had a career-high 41, leading Seattle over New York. Johnny Newman led New York with 26 points for the Knicks.
One other basketball note, the national women's team of Canada lost to a touring Soviet team tonight, 80-70 in Toronto. They'll continue that 4-game tour in Peterborough later this week. Downhill skier Brian Stemmel will do his best to be at the Olympics. Stemmel injured a knee in Austria and has returned home. Instead of undergoing surgery, he'll undergo intense therapy in hopes of reconditioning himself for the Olympics.
Hopefully he'll make it. Elizabeth Manley is one of the most gifted figure skaters in the world. Her problem is consistency. She's hot and cold. They held the women's compulsories at the Canadian Figure Skating Championships in Victoria, and Manley was hot winning the figure. She said it was the best she's ever skated in the figures. Shannon Allison was second. Patricia Schmidt was third. The challenge for Manley in Victoria and in Calgary at the Olympics is to perform well in all 3 of the events. And that is this edition of Sports Test. How about Tom Flores going? You know what? He never got the credit he deserved. While they were talking about Landry being one of the best coaches, Flores was winning Super Bowls.
Great. Sorry to see him leave. And I'm sure they got to find some other renegade to get in there. By the way, the basketball game in Peterborough is Thursday night.
Thanks for joining us. That's Sports Test.
The countdown to the Winter Olympics is underway. TSN's Olympic coverage begins in less than 22 days.
In an age when most football coaches are still imitating Vince Lombardi's fundamental approach to the game, Hank Stram, the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, stands apart as an original thinker. In 1969, his progressive theories made Kansas City the most entertaining team in all of football. They called it Hank Stram's Wild West Variety Show. Stram was the director, and with a team of stars, he translated his daring theories into hard-hitting facts. The Chiefs outfought and outthought every opponent and raced to the championship of the American Football League. In the National Football League, the championship was won by the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings had neither the talent nor the diversity of the Chiefs. All they had was a spirit that refused to accept defeat, and Joe Kapp, number 11, a hungry gut fighter from Canada who played quarterback with faith and fury instead of finesse. Aimed by Coach Bud Grant and triggered by Cap, the Vikings shot down 12 straight opponents, the longest single-season winning streak in 35 years. Their strategy was basic. The team that hits is the team that wins. The Vikings scored the most points, permitted the fewest, and dished out such punishment along the way that they came to be known as the Purple Gang. Neither snow nor icy fields nor rugged competition could stay their drive to the Super Bowl. And a collision with Hank Stram's Kansas City Chiefs.
Get it up in the air, Jan. Let's go, boys. Hey, let's go, man. Pop it out of that end zone, Jan. Come on, boy. Get it up in the air. Get it up in the air. Cover, Red, cover. Right return. Get it, Johnny.
After 4 minutes of play, the Chiefs gained possession of the ball and immediately revealed Hank Stram's well-conceived offensive game plan. Stram had decided that the Chiefs could move against the Viking defense on quick pitch passes in front of the Minnesota cornerbacks.
Throw that thing on the outside, Leonard. That double wing, do it more often. You've thrown it one. He can't cover that thing, Lenny. Throw it anytime. That pitch on the outside. That's a good time to throw it right there, you see. Let's go tight eye, double hook. Pass! Pass! See, that stuff in front is like stealing. We got to do more of it.
Quarterback Lynn Dawson proved the worth of Stram's strategy. 6 of his 7 completions in the first half were quick, sudden throws to the sideline.
That's it. That's the one. They can't cover that in a million years. No way in the world they can cover that stuff. See, that's like stealing over there. Double team those ends. No way they can cover that stuff. See, keep them down so we throw over the top.
Take it to them, Lenny.
The Chiefs operated from a bewildering cluster of offensive formations, leaving the Vikings too confused to properly defend the pass.
We're catching them moving. We're catching them moving a little bit. They're not ready for that quick count. Look at them running around. They didn't even know where to go on the lineup. They didn't know where Mike was. Didn't know where he was. They didn't know where to go. Yeah, Kosalki was running around there like it was a Chinese fire drill. They look like they're flat as hell.
Pass! Watch a pass!
After Dawson had the Vikings thinking about his quick passes to the outside, he moved his attentions to his running game. Kansas City's running backs moved like lizards, slithering in and out of slits and crevices in the Viking line. Although they did not break free for long runs, they gained consistently and gave the Chiefs essential control of the first quarter and genuine domination of the second.
The Sport of Kings. Hello, viewer. TV Guy here with an entirely new hot numbers contest called Triple Crown. Gives you 3 ways to win a 1988 Ford Tempo LX every week. Great form, incredible handling, plus over 1,000 cash prizes each week. It's as easy to play as falling off a horse, and a lot cleaner. Every TV Guide gives you 3 chances to win a 1988 Ford Tempo LX. If your number's in next week's TV Guide, you're a winner. Easy, big fella.
In a world where every day brings greater wonders, one event stands triumphant: the Olympic Games. This February, the Winter Games come to Canada for the very first time, and you can share the wonder of it all. Presenting the official coins of the Calgary 1988 Olympic Winter Games, the power, the prestige, the glory of Olympic competition, captured in flawless sterling silver. 10 sports, 10 coins, superbly crafted by the Royal Canadian Mint. Order now toll-free 1-800-268-6364, Department 23. Receive this display case with the complete collection. Each coin, $42. Call 1-800-268-6364, Department 23, and share the wonder, share the glory.
You got hockey with great saves, football with big plays, boxing, tennis, TSN, you got it.
Sunday, January 24th, the Great Pool Snooker Challenge continues on TSN. Two of the greatest meet face-to-face. Steve Mazerik, America's best 8-ball champ, is up against the #1 snooker player in the world, Steve Davis. It's round number 2 from St. Moritz, Switzerland.
TSN, now you got it all.
Come on, Lenny. Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
Let's go there, baby. Push it all down.
What'd you have?
I didn't call the play.
I wonder if we can go blue slots, 32 XGO, back into the sideline here. All right? Keep negotiating that ball right down the field, boys.
The least visible but most important aspect of Stram's game plan was executed by Kansas City's well-schooled offensive line. Wary of the quick, wild rush of Minnesota's 2 All-Pro ends, Carl Eller, number 81, and Jim Marshall, number 70, the Chiefs made them cautious early in the game. They ran the ball inside and outside and varied their blocking pattern so often that neither Marshall nor Eller could totally commit himself to driving in on the quarterback.
Field goal.
In the first quarter and again in the second, Jan Stenerud kicked field goals and gave the Chiefs a 6-0 lead.
That's a good start. That's a good start, a good kick. That's the way. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, let's do a job. Hey, these guys can't move the ball against us. Let's do the job on it, babies. Come on. Watch the play-action pass. Play-action pass. And make sure you keep them in that pocket.
The early momentum initiated by the Chiefs' offense was sustained by an adventurous defense designed to squeeze Joe Kapp in the pocket and to reach Minnesota's tough runners before they could get started. Overpowered by the Chiefs' enormous defenders, the Viking running game gained only 24 yards in the first half.
Make sure you mark it right. Make sure you mark it right. Oh, you lost your place. Measure it. Take the chains out there. Oh, they didn't make it. My God, they made that by an inch. He definitely gave an extra foot. Bad. Very bad.
When Kapp turned to his passing game, Kansas City's close guarding cornerbacks and linebackers smothered his short passes and intimidated his receivers on longer ones.
Come on, turn around!
Jump! Our ball!
It's our ball!
Then
Come on!
The guy didn't see the ball.
It's a free ball. They didn't see it.
Didn't see the play. What? How? We got 6 people out there and you can't see.
That's a lousy call, ref. Open your eyes.
How in the world can all 6 of you miss a play like that? All 6 of you miss a play. Then the ball was knocked loose when he made contact. Boy, that's a bad call. Mr. Official, let me ask you something. How can 6 of you miss a play like that, huh? All 6 of them. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact, and nobody...
I thought you were talking about you being on the field.
No. What?
Midway through the second period, the Chiefs' secondary forced the game's first turnover when Jim Marsalis knocked the ball from John Henderson and Johnny Robinson recovered on Minnesota's 46. At this point in the game, Hank Stram decided on a most unlikely gambit.
Listen, let's have a blue right slot fake draw 908 51 GO reverse. You know, yeah. Okay. Here comes a reverse coming from tight eye. Here comes a reverse from tight eye. Could be wide open here coming up. Tight eye reverse. You might pop something over back into this side. You know, we got a reverse coming from tight eye. Come on, get him out of there, Lenny. Come on, baby.
Reverse! Reverse! Turn it up, Frank! Turn it up!
Yeah! Is that there, boys? That's right. It happened fast, boys.
The 51 GO reverse would plague the Vikings all day, and it's worth repeating. Carl Ella, number 81, was lured inside by the initial fake, then chopped down by Dave Hill, clearing the outside for a 20-yard gain by Frank Pitts. Pitts's run set up another field goal by Stenerud, and the Chiefs' lead increased to 9 points.
We break them down with these threes, and then we get on that board with some big ones.
Come on, Vikings, get it back. Come on, we got to get to 7.
Hey, we don't give them anything, man. We keep scoring that pressure on, putting the coal in the fire, kicking up high, man. Let's go, come on. No frozen rope. Get it up in the air so we can cover this thing, all right? Let's go.
Minnesota's Charlie West opened the way to the game's first touchdown when he misplayed the kickoff and Kansas City recovered.
We got the ball, boys.
5 plays later with the ball on the 4-yard line, Coach Stram called for a
65 toss power trap. Look for 65 toss power trap. What does it look like?
Hey, look for a 65 toss power trap. Let's see what it looks like.
Gloucester, tell him 65 toss power trap. Get in there for 65 toss power trap.
Let's block. Come on,
let's get 7 points.
Come on, let's go.
65 toss power trap. That might pop wide open, Rats.
He's in there.
Is that there, Rats? Nice going, baby. Yes, sir, Rats. Yes, sir, boys. Is that there, Rats? Nice going, baby. Yes, sir, Rats. Yes, sir. Yeah! The Mentor. 65 toss power try. Yeah! Yeah! I tell you that, baby, it's there. Yes, sir, boys. Woo! Nice goal. Hey, nice goal. Hey, where'd it go? Okay, let's go, boys. Let's go, babes. Was that there, boys? The old Mentor?
You saw it again on television.
Yo, Coach pumped it in there, boys.
As we review the 65 toss power trap, watch the Kansas City line entice the Vikings to the outside, leaving Mike Garrett an open path through the middle. Garrett's touchdown made the score 16-0 and closed out a first half completely dominated by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, my aching knees! At last, kneeling discomfort is a thing of the past. Happy Knees, a new and exciting lightweight knee protector that's comfortable to wear for all your renovating, decorating, and housework. It's like kneeling on a cushion of air. For gardeners, Happy Knees are nothing short of perfect. Pebbles, stones, wet grass, or mud are no longer a problem with Happy Knees. Happy Knees are also great for carpet layers, floor tilers, electricians, plumbers, auto and body mechanics. And uses for Happy Knees don't stop there. For sports activities like canoeing, curling, and martial arts, they're ideal. There are dozens of uses for Happy Knees at home, at the cottage, at work, or at play. Happy Knees are made of durable, natural sponge rubber, so tough they won't tear or ever lose their shape. And because of their special Sure Grip formula, they will not fall down. Happy Knees stay in place until you take them off. One size fits all, no awkward buckles. Put them on, take them off, quick and simple. Comfort and total kneeling protection. If you do it on your knees, do them a favor. Get Happy Knees. Your knees will thank you.
COD and credit card customers call 1-800-543-1006. That's 1-800-543-1006. Or send $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Happy Knees, P.O. Box 470, Station R, Toronto, Ontario, M4G 4E1. That's 1-800-543-1006.
Hope is at a premium these days, and yet it's a vital ingredient in the art of living. Children are our hope for the future. Do you know that we could immunize the world's entire child population against the biggest killer diseases at the cost of 3 fighter aircraft? Canada's international immunization program has joined forces with UNICEF to reach out to the children of the world with a miracle in the making. And you can be part of that miracle through your support of UNICEF Canada.
TSN's Thursday is off and running at 7 with all the news from the backstretch. Join Brad Diamond with the world of horse racing. Then, speed is the word when top track stars like Ben Johnson compete in the 88 Achilles Indoor Games from Vancouver. At 9, catch all the day's action when we go down under as top players battle at the baseline in the women's semifinal matchups of the Australian Open. Don't miss a minute of TSN's Thursday.
The opening minutes of the second half offered a complete reversal of the pattern which had been established in the first half.
What in the hell's going on out there with those blocks? What play did we blow? Wendell Hayes. Where's Wendell Hayes? Wendell Hayes. Where's Wendell Hayes? Wendell Hayes. Get in there. We can't make mistakes in this game.
Beat his head! Come on, Mark! Oh! Kill him! Ow! Stick him! Damn it, move! Hey! Follow me, baby! Get him! Get him! Get him! Show we're made of, D! Come on, D! Get on, D!
Come on, give him a shot of some song. Blaster, Richard, get in there, hurry up, get out there. Come on, get out there faster. Hey, there was too much leakage on that play. There's too much leakage down there, I'll tell you that, boys. Come on, let's wake up.
Hit him, B, Banks! Way to hit him, baby! Way to hit him!
What's the matter with that snap? We blew 2 of them down there. They looked like they were late. Come on, we can't be making any mistakes down here. Who are they?
Surprised and outfought, Kansas City's offense managed only 1 first down, then turned the ball over to the other half of the Purple Gang and its fierce ringleader, Injun Joe Cat.
You gotta go, D! Work! Up!
Injun Joe blazed a 66-yard trail to the Kansas City goal, running and passing for all but 10 of the yards himself.
Get out! Bring it down his throat!
Inside, get the ball! Tackle that ball!
Dave Osborne's touchdown cut Kansas City's lead to 9 points.
Because we're going to win this game, yeah, ain't that right, Joe? Yeah, I'm going to win this game. We're going to make these guys wish they never come off a reservation. That's telling them.
Hey, make sure you now pick out somebody and block, bring this ball back for us, and let's put out the fire. Listen, Lenny, again, first down, throw that, get your square out here. They haven't come close to covering him.
Go, Chiefs, go! Go, Chiefs, go! Go, Chiefs, go!
The Chiefs responded to the Vikings' score by returning to the strategy which had proved so effective in the first half. And when Minnesota challenged the Chiefs' short passing game, Stram instructed Dawson to switch to his deceptive running attack.
Reverse. Here comes the reverse, boys. Yeah, here comes the reverse.
There it goes again. Reverse. All right. There it is. Right there, partner.
You got it.
First down.
You got the first down. Here it is. Move it. Oh, hey, move it up a little bit. You look at his foot here. My God, look where his front of the foot is and where you put the ball. Yeah, but here's, yeah. You did good, you did good. You marked it good.
Switch it on, switch it on.
No, he's all right. That's good. You marked it good. You marked it good. You did a hell of a job. Nice going. Great job. You marked it good. That's an excellent call. Those officials are doing a hell of a job. Was that reverse there, boys? It was there, wasn't it, boys? It was there, wasn't it?
All right, watch the play.
With the ball on the Viking 46-yard line, Dawson decided to resume his passing tactics. It was a wise decision. In a brilliant individual effort, Otis Taylor turned a routine hitch pass into a devastating touchdown.
Where's Otis? Otis. Yeah. That's the way to inject that ball over the goal line.
I knew you'd do it, Duck! Hey, Duck! I knew you'd do it!
That's it. What's that there, boys? It was very important that we score on that last drive, I'll tell you that.
A repeat of the touchdown reveals it began from the same sideline pattern, which had worked so successfully in the first half. Taylor's remarkable run gave Kansas City a 23-7 lead late in the third period. Trailing by 16 points, the Vikings pinned their fading hopes on the strong arm of determined Joe Kapp.
Come on, offense, let's go! We gotta get to 7!
But all the willpower in the world could not pull Kapp through the rough Chief defense. 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, one by linebacker Willie Lanier, number 63, and the other by safety Johnny Robinson, number 42, ended all hopes of a Viking comeback.
That ball looked like it had helium in it.
Hey, you can't float those balls in our league.
That's right.
Back it up.
Much of the credit for the interceptions must go to the persistent giants of the Chiefs' defensive line, who dealt Joe Kapp a season's worth of punishment in a single game. Through it all, Kapp was brave and tough, as he always has been. But by the end of the day, he was physically beaten, something he has never been. Defeat is a personal thing,
Nice going.
but victory belongs to everyone.
Nice going, Willie. Hey, Johnny.
Johnny, let Coach Strand get in there.
Johnny, hey, Johnny. Hell of a job. Nice going, baby. Nice going, baby. That's a big kick for us, boy. Nice going. Hey, Bobby Stein. Hey, Bob, nice going, boy. Go ahead for Mike, Lenny Dawson.
How'd it be, Leonard? You're a champ.
Nice going, Leonard. Nice going, baby. Nice going, baby.
On January 11th, 1970, victory belonged to Hank Stram and his Kansas City Chiefs, the world champions of professional football.
The road to gold is on TSN. Follow the Olympic torch all the way to Calgary for the 1988 Winter Olympics. Every Tuesday, Road to Gold brings you athlete profiles.
Way tie for first place overall in the NHL. Edmonton was there and stays there. Philadelphia won 3-1. The Oilers haven't won in Philadelphia in the regular season since 1982. Calgary had a chance to take over first place overall in the NHL all by itself, but lost as Bernie Nichols scored 42 seconds into overtime. Los Angeles upsets in Calgary 5-4. Elsewhere in the NHL, St. Louis had an upset win in Montreal, breaking a 5-game losing streak on the road. Because of that loss, Boston moved into first place in the Adams division with a 6-1 win over Minnesota. Boston's also tied for first overall with Edmonton and Calgary. Other games in the NHL, the Islanders haven't won in 10 on the road. They lose in Hartford 4-3. Jersey losing at home after tying it up in the late going. 3-2. Detroit wins on Ashton's overtime goal. And the Toronto Maple Leafs have reached a club record winless streak, 13 games since the Toronto Maple Leafs last won, losing to Quebec. That's all the time we have on TSN Sports Desk. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jim Houston.
Come on. A little bit cold this morning.
Grab all that stuff and bring it in.
Last time you were here, you had a Flemington. All right, let's put up the light stands and get a reading now.
Okay, 6 in the slow motion one, go to 81 black.
3, 2, 1, let go. Is this a will call window?
Yes, sir.
I was supposed to get 2 tickets that's under the name of Danny Abramovitz for Bill Orth.
Okay, there you are.
Oh, jump. Hoosie fee. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You got any left in the room?
No, sir.
No standing room, nothing?
No, sir, we don't sell standing room. It's sold out.
I'm supposed to have some tickets here.
What's the name, sir?
Flowers. Ron Flowers.
From one of the teams?
Quarterback of Dallas was supposed to have called down here and got me a couple seats.
Well, we didn't have any tickets to give him because we didn't have any to sell.
Not a week ago or 10 days ago.
No, sir, we sure didn't. Super Bowl's been sold out for 2 months.
Hello. I wonder if you have 2 tickets here, please. My name is Mason.
Mason?
Yeah, they were left by Jack Newman.
No, sir.
No, not yet. I'll have to check.
No Mason.
No tickets?
No, sir.
Oh, would you check again? I'm sure they were left here. They were left by Mr. Newman.
From a team?
Huh?
From a
no,
team?
he's with the office. He's with the league office.
No, I don't have any.
Because I just talked to him this morning.
I'm sorry. He hasn't come yet.
Could you just look through the box one more time?
I did look.
Well, could you check again? I'm sure they're here.
I did. I have no Newman.
Oh, there's got to be. It must be some mistake. Could you look maybe in the office or somewhere?
They're all out here in this box.
Well, it's impossible. I mean, I came all the way down from New York for the game.
Well, you'll have to wait for the gentleman to leave them, to bring them.
He told me he left them already. I already talked to him. I called him from the hotel.
Well, you'll have to call him back.
Oh, this is impossible. I came all the way down here for this game.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well, can I have your name, please? Because there's going to have to be something done about this.
Ella May.
I'm sorry?
Ella May.
Ella May?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your last name?
Weatherwax.
Miss Weatherwax? Because I'm going to have to check into this.
Mrs. Weatherwax.
Mrs. Weatherwax?
Yes.
All right. This is just inexcusable. I don't know how you can run an office like this.
Well, we do a pretty good job.
Okay, Weatherwax. Thank you.
Take a blimp ride.
There's a beat in this land, it's there in all we do. That's why hands across the country reach for the blue. And when we get together, there's a taste that's clean and true. That's why we come for the blue.
Labatt's Blue is Pilsner brewed for that clean, true taste.
Yeah, that's why we come for the blue. It's time to call for your blue. It's time to call for the blue.
The Sport of Kings. Hello, viewer. TV Guy here with an entirely new hot numbers contest called Triple Crown. Gives you 3 ways to win a 1988 Ford Tempo LX every week. Great form, incredible handling, plus over 1,000 cash prizes each week. It's as easy to play as falling off a horse. And a lot cleaner. Every TV guide gives you 3 chances to win a 1988 Ford Tempo LX. If your number's in next week's TV guide, you're a winner. Easy, big fellow.
I'm Ken Chulabeck. I'm at Canada's Olympic Park just outside of Calgary. It's the site of the luge, the bobsled, and the ski jumping competition for the '88 Winter Olympics. I'll be here to provide all the information and all the excitement and the drama of those 3 sports.
Super Sunday, 1971. A bright day of promise for an extraordinary game of pro football. Early in the first quarter, the fickle nature of Super Bowl V began to emerge. Baltimore's Ron Gardine misplayed a punt, and Dallas recovered on the Colt 9. Three attempts to reach the end zone failed, and the Cowboys had to settle for a field goal. Mike Clark's kick gave Dallas a 3-point lead, but it was a disappointing end to an early opportunity.
Well, I think we ought to just go with our regular stuff and blow them out of there. They're playing a little strong toward Pettis, I think.
The next time the Cowboys had the ball, Coach Tom Landry instructed his quarterback, Craig Morton, to concentrate on the running game. twisting through the Colts like two Texas tornadoes, Walt Garrison, number 32, and Dwayne Thomas, number 33, proved the worth of Landry's tactics. Only once did Morton resort to that old and honored cowboy trademark, the long pass to Bob Hayes. Hayes's catch brought Dallas to the Baltimore 6. But for the second time, Landry's offense was stopped by Don McCafferty's defense.